everyone, it's Jess, and we are here to spend a day indoors to discuss Survivor 49, our premiere episode. I am so excited. I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people say, it was an okay episode. I thought I had a blast. I had a ball. I thought it was a really fun episode. Maybe that's just me, but we'll get into that. Survivor 49, we are off to a bang, I would say. Our 2-hour premiere. Now, I know earlier in other videos, and I did mention I was going to do a cast video. I did not. I ran out of time. I have work stuff coming up, ADHD, things just go sometimes, but we're here. So let's get into this. I'm so excited. I just have so much fun with Survivor. I'm having a ball. All right. Now, guys, check it out. The graphics, hello? Superstar. That's fine. Okay. So, we have our tribes here. We start off with the marooning. We get our intro. We get Jawan narrating the intro. I think we like the intro here. His, horror movie. I'm as a horror movie fan myself. Love the comparisons here. And we have our 3 tribes starting off. Now, obviously, like I said, I didn't do my cast video. I do really like this cast. I think this is a fun cast. I think we're in for a really good season. Really promising season. So, the tribes maroon. We're getting to the mat chats. Everybody's really excited. Something I love about Survivor is that I know some people have an issue with this. Majority, if not all of the cast are, big super fans. Massive fans. I love that. As somebody who, comes from a history of Big Brother, to have so many super fans, a dream. On Big Brother, you get 2. You're lucky if half the people know anything about the game. They could be halfway through the game and they'll be like, how do you use this thing? But Survivor, they bring so much energy, so much passion, and I, for one, love that. So I get really excited. I'm like, oh my god, these people, they get me excited because they're so excited. Big Brother, they're kind of like, cool. But we're not here to talk about Brother. I'm sorry. Survivor. They pull up on the boats, Jeff's waiting for them. They don't even have a mat. They just got a line in the sand. I'm like, okay, damn, no mat. They just put a stick. I'm like, oh, okay, but you got no mat. Stick, fine. Killa drops first, then Uli, then Hina, and Jeff goes around talking to everybody. Who are you? Tell us about yourself. How are you feeling? Da da da. So interesting things said. Most people are just really excited. Interesting things that are said and revealed to the whole cast. Jason tells everybody he's alternate. I believe they may have already known, since if you're not aware, the situation with the cast this year is that this is the first time they've had to use both alternates because 2 people were caught breaking the rules, communicating with each other. I believe, very obviously, told multiple times to cut the shit, didn't do it, booted. I believe it was 12 hours before they were supposed to start. So we have both alternates, actually both on the Hina tribe, Jason and MC. MC, who does not reveal to the cast that she is the other alternate, though they may know if it was, I don't know the ins and outs of Ponderosa. I'm not there. I've never been on Survivor. I believe they most likely would have done I know they kind of don't know who the alternates are until I believe they do their cast photos, because obviously alternates not in that. I don't know where in the timeline the people were removed and the alternates Jason and MC came in. So they could have already known, because Savannah kind of I believe Savannah kind of gave a nod, yeah. They already knew this information. It's possible that they may have known, but Jason did start he's I don't know if I can say this, I'm an alternate. I didn't even know I was gonna be here till 12 hours ago, till half hour before I went to bed. He's I packed 3 shirts, one's yellow, one's blue, one's red, and here I am. So it's like, I don't think people don't usually, announce they're an alternate. We've had many alternates before. In fact, this cast is like alternate city. Jason and MC are alternates of this season. We have people who are alternates on past seasons. Sage, one of the Sophies. So we have a number of alternates here. Now, Jake. Jake gets to talk. Jake, I don't know. Listen, this isn't the choice I would have made. He mentioned this story in his preseason interviews as well. How, Survivor, he's been watching Survivor with his family for like his whole life, and how his father has glaucoma and is going blind, and this season 49 will be the last season he could actually physically watch before he goes blind and can't see anymore. He tells this on the map, which, fair. It's a motivation for why you're here playing the game. Would I have started with that? No. I feel like that kind of puts a target on you. Like a big target. Like, if we take this guy to the end, he's got like the story. He's gonna win. People might vote for him like, oh, but his dad's going blind. I feel like am I just like heartless? Would I be like, get this guy out of here? Probably. But also, Jake does have the added bonus of being Jake. Definitely an asset to the tribe. So maybe it'll work in his favor. I don't know. I mean, he has more going for him as well. Like, he tells later on in the episode to Alex and Sophie, he tells them how his wife is currently pregnant and literally about to give birth any day. I'm like, you're just telling everybody everything. They're like, oh man, his dad's going blind and he's about to have his first child literally right now and is missing the birth of his child. Crazy. That's a story. The fact that he's telling us on the mat is wild. I'm like, oh, a choice I would not have made. But that's just me. He's got a lot going for him, so I'm not worried about them voting him out anytime soon. I think he can definitely make it to merge. I am not shocked. Unless he, like, royally fucks up somehow along the way. Socially, game-wise, I wouldn't cut this man. If I wanted to try him, I'd be like, hello? Do you see him running this marooning challenge? Marooning challenge. Let me just get into that because this man is crazy. Marooning challenge, they have to they're running the whole challenge in pairs, The first pair goes into the jungle, has to undo, knots to get the two, each get a big crate, carry the crate to their starting area where the rest of the challenge is set up. The next pair has to then swim out to the ocean where there's a boat waiting, drag the boat out back to the sand so they can put the rest of the crates on the boat. The last pair will then put together all these heavy ass crates into a big cube puzzle. And then one person on the tribe, once the puzzle is complete with the little frame on top, hop up, unhook the mallet, jump, hit the bell. God, I watch these challenges and I'm like, I would break my neck in an instant doing this shit. Like, this, it's crazy. I mean, they've done some crazy shit on this show, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, they just want these people dead. They're like, welcome to hell, bitch. Get out there. Run your shit. You know what? Good for them. If you're on Survivor, you might as well go big or go home. Why not? So I wrote down for the challenges the pairs because ADHD. And my ear out to it sometimes. Or eyes. You know what I mean? I forget. Very forgetful. So let's see. So the first pair running. Obviously, I forgot. You get a prize if you win. You get your supplies. Because it's Survivor and you have to fight for your supplies in the new era. And if you lose, guess what? You gotta go 1v1. Duel for your supplies. Loser gets shit. Winning tribe, you get your supplies as well. Oh boy. So, for the first leg of this race, the jungle run, We got Matt and MC. I don't know why I wrote Matt so badly. Then Joanna and Rizzo for I almost said Kelly. Oh my god, girl, we're starting off strong. I'm looking here. The names are in front of me. Let me look. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So Matt and MC are the first runners for Hina, with Jake and Annie the first runners for Kella, and Uli has Jawan and Rizzo running first. Let me tell you something. Jeff says go. Jake might as well just be like a robot. That man goes about 80 miles an hour, leaves people in the dust, and they're like, oh my god. Like, he leaves Annie behind, smoking everybody. It's just gone into the jungle, and I'm like, oh boy, welcome back, Jonathan Young. So, great, no problem, but also not far behind him, both of Hina's tribe, MC and Matt. And now, preseason, when I'm looking at the tribes, I was very high on Uli, high on Hina. Hina is running this like how I thought Uli was. I was like, oh my god, they're killing this shit. They're crushing. Cause they get to the crates, everybody's undoing the crates. Jake takes off without Annie. Annie's just trying to roll it because it's heavy as shit. MC and Matt are like behind Jake. Both of them, tit for tat, running with this shit. And I'm like, these people are... I break my neck. And honestly, they are fast with these damn crates. I mean, Rizzo and Jawan sit together. It's funny. Both pairs come together for Hina and Uli. Jawan and Nate. Not Jawan and Nate. I'm looking at them next to each other. I apologize. Jawan and Rizzo come together. MC and Matt go together. Jake left Annie in the dust. He does eventually, you can see in the background, like one of the shots, he goes back and gets her crate for, because she's probably trailing behind somewhere. Trying to roll this crate. But the teams are diving. Our diving teams. I wrote them down as well. Because, the boat teams. Where are they? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking down. They're across. I'm sorry. I forgot. I forgot how I laid my... Just did these. Forgot how I did my notes. So, Steven and Sophie. Sophie S. I put them as Sophie S and Sophie B, even though their names are spelled different. It's just easier for me. Because I'm going to forget. I'm going to say Sophie with an E, Sophie with an I. And just say B and S. So, Sophie S and Steven hit the water. And then Shannon and Savannah hit for Uli. And Jeremiah and Alex go for Kella. I have to remember to say Kelly. I keep wanting to say Kelly. It's Kella. These people are ripped. They have to be. Are you going to be the most sore person on earth? I feel like I'm going to take a nap for 5 hours after this, but they had to go build shelters. Dragging a fucking heavy ass boat. Gotta swim through the ocean. But I'm. It's so fun. Listen. I'm having a ball. Honestly, I love the challenge. I love these challenges because I just watch them like, damn, they just be kicking these people ass. There's a time later during the immunity challenge. There's a point when Savannah's going through like the rope maze and she just like fully just falls and just smashes all the way down to the hard to the ground, straight full body in the dirt, and just gets up like it's another Tuesday. I'm like, I would need a week to recover from that. Like, she drops hard in that tunnel. And I'm like, oh, okay, keep going, girl. Good for you. I mean, you gotta train for this. And these people clearly are trained. These people are ready. They're locked in. And nobody's more locked in than this Hina child. Let me tell you that. Hina is locked in. They are destroying the challenges this episode. And I am so curious how they would have done had they not lost the other two OG people and gotten their alternates. Honestly, it may be doing them a benefit. I mean, clearly it is because people were like pre-gaming. The hell, but we're not here to talk about them. But this tribe is so strong. The marooning challenge, the immunity challenge, they destroy it. And they fly through this. Once they're the first one back, with the crates. They get everything all set up. They do the puzzle. They're the quickest to get through this puzzle. They finish this puzzle, putting the box together, and the other two tribes are like halfway done, maybe. And MC one shots it, gets up on that crate. Also, forget to add, Jason and Christina. No. Yes, Jason and Christina. I flipped them. Sorry. Jason and Christina do the puzzle quickly. And like they have it done, and they have like a part of it. It's like instead of, and they're just like bashing that shit, and they're like, we're not taking this apart. It's gonna fit in there whether we like it or not. They're just like beating it, like, get that shit in there. They get the little frame on top. MC's up on that box, no problem. Whoop, unhooks the mallet, gets back up on there. She hits that belt first shot. Floored, wipes. They wipe the floor with these people, and I mean like, oh, they're good. These people are set. I think I have full faith that it's gonna take him a bit to get to tribal, unless they, I don't know, fumble hard. I think they're gonna do really well this season. I mean, they crushed the immunity challenge later on as well. Like they're killing it. I'm like, oh my god. They are a much more balanced team than I was expecting. I definitely was higher initially during the previous interviews on Uli. But Hino, oh my god, they're like killing it. And they are just peppy. The most pep fucking tribe you've ever seen. They are happy as a clam. I mean, I would be too if I was winning everything. I had all my supplies and we're chilling. They're like, no stress for us. We're first place every time. We're number one. So now, obviously, Murdering Challenge. You gotta get your supplies. You don't get your supplies, where you gotta go? Now they're calling, the 1v1 do. It's a journey to get your supplies. And I'm nervous watching this. Because you don't want to go off on a journey. And most of these people in the recent interviews were like, not me, no thank you. A couple of them weren't insane enough to be like, I would do it. For sure. And I'm like, why? What? I guess you maybe are a little more safer with, just getting supplies. But this is very critical. In the past few seasons alone, like 47, for example, 47. I forgot a word. My bad. 47 for the journey challenge, however they want to call it, the supply duel for challenges. Can I speak? I can't speak today. The challenge duel for supplies. We said it. We did it. TK went for Tuku. Asia went for Lavo. They're going to get supplies. They're separated from their tribe right out the gate. What happens to both of them? They don't get that valuable bonding time. They are both the first boots of their tribe. So immediately I'm like, you couldn't pay me to be the first one to go do this, because that bonding time you're missing with your tribe is so critical, especially in tribes of 6. The numbers are not there. It's so easy for the 5 of them to just be like, we're good. It's one thing if you have a larger tribe, like 8, 9 people, bigger, more people to work with. 6? That's not good. So I'm nervous. Kella picks, Alex agrees to go. Rizzo's like, I guess for Uli, he's like, Rizzo's like, I'll go, but if it's a puzzle, we're cooked. And listen, if I'm on Uli and someone says that, I'm like, maybe we should pick somebody else who is a little more confident, because there's always some kind of puzzle. It's never just gonna be like race in a circle, you know what I mean? But they decide, like I said, Alex for Kella, Rizzo for Uli, and off they go. Everybody goes back to camp. We get a little bit of the camp dynamic. Everybody's just still trying to get to know each other pretty much. A couple of people are, feeling each other out, trying to see, like, what's what. Just gotta read everybody. Because you're living with these people, but they're also, like, they're your teammates, but you're also your enemies at the end of the day. You gotta get each other out. Now, with Kella, this is interesting. I was the most worried about them preseason. The other two tribes, in my opinion, seemed much more balanced, much more connected. Seemed like they would just be more similar. I don't want to say the disaster tribe. It's only been one episode, but they just give that vibe. Vibe of like, how did these people get into this group? And even they're kind of, Nicole is like, this group is something. This group is gonna be a handful. I feel like it's a lot of personality in this group. A lot of conflicting personality. And you can see that later on with their challenges. Not doing too hot. Not doing too hot at all. Now, Alex is lucky that Jake is on his tribe because Jake is so broy. Alex doesn't even talk to him. And he's off on this challenge duel for supplies. And Jake is like, well, I'm good with Alex. Alex is my boy. I'm like, you've never said a word to this man. You just saw a bro and you're like, we're locked. And later on, he talks more about his, like, bromance with Alex. And he has to, for some reason, specifically mention that it's not in a gay way. I'm like, you don't need to say that. You could just say you bond. You click well with this guy. You don't need to be like, yeah, it's like a bromance, but we're not gay. I'm like, chill, dude. Okay. You don't need to convince me of that. This is what? I'm like, okay. And I was like, he's like, we're not gay. I'm like, what are you doing? Hello? What are we doing? Hello? Alberta. That's Alberta for it, man. I don't know. But very insistent on this bromance with Alex. But guys, pure straight. Don't worry about it. No worries. So Alex at least has somebody back at camp with his back. Power of bros, I guess. But this tribe is just so interesting because I don't know, they just felt like they're just like eclectic. Is like the best word maybe I can think of is eclectic. I don't know. They just look at them. It's like, how did they get here? Like they put together Hina and Uli, and they're like, so we got these people left. Yeah, just put them on this. Should we move the other ones? Nah. Just put them together. Just fit them. We got the first male Taurus to possibly win this game. Oh my god. Let me tell you something. They're already starting to form alliances. Right? Obviously Jake with Alex before Alex even gets to speak a word to him. And Sophie, who said in a pre-sent interview that she was looking for a meat shield, is me like, she sees Jake and she's like, I hit the jackpot, babes. So that is immediate trio link up. Like she gets to that quick. Sophie's putting in the work as well to try to bond with everybody. With a tribe this small, you need as many connections as you get. As well, good to have numbers. Connections, strategically, all good. Plus, gotta build the camp. A lot. I forgot as well. I wanted to talk just about Hina real quick. I love Christina. I love a lot of this cast. This cast is a really, really fun cast. I think we're like, this is gonna be a trip. Christina, I love Christina. I am also a city girl. Well, I'm not a city girl. I don't live in a city. I'm not an outdoorsy girl. Don't let them bring you down, Christina. I also don't like birds. I'm not a bird girl. I also would be like, okay, we're good. Birds over there. When she said that, and people were like, oh, Omer was like, wow. No birds? And I'm like, yeah, Omer, no birds. Though you're in nature, it's Fiji. You're just gonna be birds. Okay. I forgot to put that down in the notes. I'm like, oh my god, that's so funny. Okay. Sorry. Mage name all over. Now, getting to Uli, who get to their campsite. Obviously, Rizzo was off on his little journey for supplies. They're calling themselves the Vibe Tribe. I mean, they have Shannon, who I think is just vibes. Pure vibes. And let me say something. Shannon surprised me the most this episode. I really, truly, when I was reading the Uli interviews and watching the Uli videos preseason, I was like, okay, so we have the Uli tribe, and then Shannon she's gotta be. I mean, have you? Her interview, I'm like, did she mention a thing about Survivor? I was deeply, deeply concerned with her preseason interviews, but she is actually meshing really well with the tribe. She has Savannah, she has Sage, Jawan's feeling good with her, Nate's feeling good with her. I mean, we don't get much from Rizzo's point of view of the tribe dynamics, but a majority of this tribe is feeling really good about Shannon, and she is locking in with Savannah, and already multiple alliances are being pitched with some this person, and then Savannah and Shannon. This person, Savannah and Shannon. That's great. I was shocked. I was like, oh wow. I wasn't expecting it, but they are calling themselves the Vibe Tribe for now. Savannah's like, this is the Vibe Tribe for now, because this is Survivor. We can't just be vibes. And I'm like, she gets it. And I feel really confident in Savannah after that. She said that, and I was like, okay, she gets it. She is really getting it. Because too often, you have to lock in. It's easier to be prepared for that worst case scenario, and then being too happy-go-lucky, and then all of a sudden tower comes crumbling down, and now you have to be like, oh, we are in it. We did not prepare for this, and now we gotta tone shift real fast. Because it just takes one challenge loss, and all of a sudden you're sitting your ass at tribal, and someone's going home. Doesn't take much. Now, the duel. This is the funniest shit. Dude. So, listen. I'm putting my stake in this now. I'm Team Rizgod. This was so funny. This was the funniest shit. I don't care. I don't care if people online, he cheated. This is cheating. I don't care. It was funny. And if it was cheating, they would have stopped him. I call that resourceful. So this is the TLDR of the challenge. What the challenge they have to do here is to get their supplies. For both Alex and Rizzo, they have in their respective little areas, they have to run down this beach full of coconuts, find the 10 coconuts that have their respective tribe emblems on it, bring them back, crack those bitches open, get the puzzle pieces out of them, put them together on this little table here. It's a map. There's a little X marks the spot on the map. Run that little X. Dig. Find the ship wheel. Pull out the big ass ship wheel. Run your ass down the beach to the flagpole. Put your ship wheel on. Crank that shit and crank up your flag. First one with the flag up, you win. Simple. Now, Rizzo is like, uh-oh. Because he sees puzzle and he's like, Because like I said earlier, he told his tribe, oh, if it's a puzzle, I'm cooked. Which, why would you say that to them? I would not have said that to them. I would get my mouth shut. I'm like, okay, we'll try. But choice to be like, we're cooked if it's a puzzle, and then be like, oh, there's a puzzle. Yeah, but it's Survivor. There's gonna be a puzzle. So they start running, and Alex, he's talking about his elliptical. Oh, I'm on that elliptical. I got stamina for days, so he's having no problem getting these coconuts. Rizzo sweating, which I'm like, me felt so much. You know, they do get their coconuts. Alex has a big lead on Rizzo. Rizzo is still getting his coconuts, and Alex is already cracking them open to put the puzzle together. And Rizzo's like, fuck. But he does eventually get all his coconuts and opens most of them. He misses one. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. There's one just sitting off to the side in the sand, sealed. And I'm like, I was watching this and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, the whole time, I'm like, look at that sand. He's like trying to figure out this puzzle. He's like, I don't get it. It's not working. And I'm like, look. I'm like yelling at TV. I'm like, look down. Rizzo, please, look down. But you know, Alex is flying through this. He flies through getting the coconuts. He flies through this puzzle. He gets the map all put together. Sees X marks the spot down the beach. They maps, the puzzles themselves are the same, but the images are different because obviously their X's are not in the same spot. They can't both be digging in the same hole. That's not gonna work. So Alex is already running to go dig. Rizzo still trying to figure out this puzzle, and Riz God. Period. Funniest shit ever. He's like, I can't figure this. He's like, I'm just gonna cheat. I'm just gonna copy this man's puzzle. Not only does he go over and like it's one like looking at it like, okay, this is how we put the, just taking his pieces and just putting the puzzle together on top of it, running it back, putting it together over here. That's resourcefulness. And it's funny. I don't care if it was cheating, it's funny. I laughed. I was like, this is the funniest shit. I mean, Alex should have taken it apart. I don't know. I mean, you just need to know where the X was. Which, did everybody need to know where the X was? Because it was marked. That, I looked when they were, I'm like, this is marked. There's two big ass logs on in the middle where you just gotta go where the logs are. Could just skip that whole, just put the puzzle together and just run for that. The logs, it's rare. So Rizzo is trying to figure out his puzzle, not getting it, still not getting it, even copying Alex's. Alex is fighting for his life because he cannot find this ship wheel. And I'm like, dude, just dig. And he's not getting, even I know you gotta dig far. Do you think, I don't know what he was thinking. If they thought they just put the wheel on top and just threw a little bit of sand over it and we're like, okay. They buried that shit. And he was not getting that. He's digging really shallow. He's digging shallow and wide, not narrow and deep. So Rizzo's getting on him. In fact, Rizzo does get on him. Once he figures out that, hey, I'm missing another coconut, and he opens his coconut and gets the actual rest of the pieces he needs, Rizzo locks his eyes on him. For Rizzo to catch up to him when Alex had such a big lead is crazy. Even Alex is like, I can't believe I'm blowing this lead. How am I blowing this lead? To the point, why he just didn't when he's going wide, was like, I can't find it, and didn't just go deeper. Instead, he got up and is now just digging random holes around this side of the beach. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, what are you doing? Just dig deeper. It's not going to be as shallow, like you're going to dust some sand off the beach and it's right there. They're going to bury the hell out of that shit. And Rizzo gets it. Rizzo gets to his X marks the spot, and that man is digging like literally like his life depends on it. Because it kind of does. He is like a whole not even just, he's like digging. He's not even just using his hands. He's using like his whole body. He's using his feet. He literally has his, one point is just dragging his face through the sand with his full body, digging that hole out. And I'm like, that's commitment. He really wanted to win that shit. And he does. Congratulations, Rizzo. Because he finds that ship wheel. He destroys whatever lead Alex had and just flies past him. Gets that wheel, runs his ass down to the beach, gets that flag up, and he gets those supplies for Uli. And Alex is gobsmacked. Alex is like, I can't believe I fucked this up. And I'm like, I can't believe you did either. Because he had he was like a week ahead of this kid. And he fumbled it. Literally, if you watch Big Brother, it's giving Vince in that channel. If you know, you know. I'm like, oh my god. How did you fumble that? But unfortunately for Kella, Alex fumbled. No supplies for Kella. Rizzo gets to take his supplies back to Uli, a champion. He did the puzzle. He completed a puzzle. He didn't solve it himself, but he did it. And I don't care if it's cheating. It's kind of funny. It's camp. This is camp. So Team Riz God. Period. Put it on a shirt. If he sells the shirt, I'll buy it. Oh my god. It's just so funny because people are like so mad. I'm like, whatever. It's a puzzle. And it's not even like it was for like immunity or like to save your vote or for it was to get the supplies, which obviously is very important. But it's not like if Rizzo, I said Lizzo. But it's not like it was like a fight for them to go. Like if this was like Alex loses and goes home, I'd be like, all right, dude. But it's for the supplies. Very critical, but not as, personally damaging for your game. Well, I guess it depends. Always depends on the tribe. How the tribe is feeling, what the dynamic is. Are they upset with you for not bringing back the supplies? Like, what's the vibe? Luckily for Alex, the vibe is good for him because he's already got Jake on his side for a purely heterosexual reason. So he doesn't need to be worried about being targeted because he's got Jake and now Sophie locked without him even having to do literally anything. He just had to be there on that beach. And they were like, we're in. And then Rizzo gets to go back with his supplies for Uli. Uli is so stoked. He literally holds that shit up like he's like, yeah, like not even the boat's still coming and he's holding that machete up like he just caught like a prize bass fish. They're very happy. And honestly, good. Because you need that shit to put the camp together. You need that machete quick. Because those bamboo logs are like thick. Now, at this point, we start to get a little more into the tribe dynamics, obviously, before we get into the immunity challenge later on. There's a lot of early social bonds. There's not a ton of, there's like the alliance, like, it's mostly just like, I feel good about you. I feel good about you. I feel good about you. Some people are saying it to everybody. Sophie's saying it to everybody. Steven is saying it to everybody. A lot of feeling good about yous. Now, some people not doing as good. Annie, I feel like it's Survivor 101 that you don't want it to be very known that you're going off on your own. Don't make it obvious that you're off on your own. If your whole tribe is going to do something together, or like a big group is, go with them. Don't be like, no, I'm going to go do my own thing. Because they're going to, no matter what you say, they're just going to automatically assume that you're idol hunting or advantage hunting. Which, she's not. It's so crazy. The whole tribe is off. She's not even idol. She's just like at camp. I'm like, you're painting a target on yourself for no reason. They're all like, well, we got to figure out if she has an advantage or something. We had to figure out if she found something off on her own. And she's not even looking. She's just at camp. She's just built putting shit together. I'm like, Annie, girl, it's already like a like not bad, but she's already kind of got the eyes on her because, you know, she's the oldest of her tribe. She's 49. I mean, most of her tribe is a good amount of her tribe is in their 30s. But 49 is, big jump. So that's already like eyes on you. Wandering off on your own is not gonna help. No, you gotta be subtle, man. Just be like, I'm good while your whole tribe goes somewhere. Okay, and then when your ass is sent home, you're gonna be like, what happened? Thought we were good. Well, you keep wandering off. I mean, at least she wasn't looking, because I feel like that would have been worse if she actually was advantage hunting and they were that close to her. Because, I guess she would have the advantage, but it's probably a beware advantage. You're probably gonna lose your vote, then you gotta do this thing, and then you'll lose your vote again, then you gotta do this thing, But it's better for them to just be, I guess, assuming that she's hunting versus, like, well, this is my opinion at least, versus them actually seeing her idol hunting. Like, again, back to 47, like when Rome was, like, all the way in the water, was, like head deep, like, all the way in their, like, drinking water, when he was digging through the bushes, and Asia was like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh my god. But yeah, not good to go off on your own, Annie, especially not so obviously. On the opposite side of things, though, Hina and Uli, a lot of bonding. Let me say something. Hina is, like, at the top of the world right now. But I'm concerned. I was very high on Steven preseason. I am now very worried about Steven. Not because of any, like, action he took, but off of the words he's saying in the confessional about how he's starting. He's working, he's talking to everybody, he's trying to be like, oh, I feel really good about you, I get a good vibe from you, things like that. And he starts paranoia to the I'm like, it's day 2. How are we this paranoid? I'm very worried for in the future. If he's just paranoid, it's day 2, and he's like, what if everybody's telling everybody that they're good with them? What if these people are lying to me behind their and, like, talking about behind my back? And I know he's explained, like, it's due in part to, past trauma that he had from when he was, like, younger, about being bullied and isolated, which I understand. Social anxiety, trust me, I get it. As a socially anxious person myself, I fully understand. But you have to, I think, to do any kind of show like this with the social strategy game to it, you just have to accept to some degree that somebody is going to be lying to you. Nobody's going to every single person here is not going to 100% tell you their game, their moves. You just have to kind of accept that somebody's probably lying to you. That's not the hard part. The hard part is figuring out who's lying to you, why they're lying to you, what the real truth is. Can you figure it out? How are you going to figure it out? Are you going to figure this out, by direct confrontation? Are you going to try to piece things together with context clues? Are you going to try to reach through somebody else who may have more information? That is more important than just somebody lying to you. I'm like, why are they lying to you? What are they telling you? What are they not telling you? But Steven is, like, immediately paranoid, where he's telling people, do you think there's alliances happening right now? What do you think there's alliances? And they're like, probably. It's Survivor. There probably are already alliances forming. And that's just a fact that you have to accept. There's going to be alliances that you don't know about. You just have to be prepared for them. You just have to be prepared. Mentally, strategically, socially, maybe even physically, depending on what the hell the tribe shakes out to be. The alliance, excuse me. So preparing for that, I think, is more important than trying to figure out, are they lying to me? Yes or no? Are they forming alliances without me? Yes or no? Probably. The answer is probably. But you gotta be ready for it. Master's effect. So now I'm very worried about Steven, which is kind of a bummer because I really like Steven. But if he's going to be super paranoid out the gate, that really concerns me. Very, very much so. And I hope he can pull it back. I really, really hope so. Because otherwise, I think that might be really not good. Really, really not good. Now, Kella. I keep saying Kelly. They are, like I mentioned, the Sophie, Alex, Jake trio that formed rather quickly. They are trying to pull in a fourth because obviously 3 is a good number, 4 is better, 4 is the majority. They have a couple options. Jake, is Alex is starting to bond a bit with Annie despite, her wandering off on her own. Sophie, who is a bit nervous about the Jake Alex bromance in a straight way, is trying to pull in Jeremiah to her to have that number as well, for added bonus. Obviously, Jake and Alex are her meat shields, but Jeremiah is something she can work, more similarly to. And thankfully, she explains to Jeremiah, I've got Alex, I've got Jake. So Jeremiah goes to Jake, locks it in. So that right there, solid 4. A solid 4 tribe, you've already got the majority. And I think those 4 are pretty solid. I think they can do well. They definitely seemed like the stronger 4 of the bunch, for sure. I mean, especially with the challenge performances, but I'm talking also more strategically as well. Well, depends on the person. But overall, I think that 4 can do pretty well. Obviously, that's not good for Nicole or Annie, but we'll get to that later. Now, with Uli, they're also in discussion. There's discussions about alliances among as well. Like I mentioned earlier, Savannah and Shannon are getting pretty close. Sage and Shannon as well are fairly close. Nate and Jawan are kind of connecting. Obviously, Jawan is a film editor. Nate works as a producer, though he's not telling them that. He's telling them he was a PA right now. He's a stay-at-home dad, and he did some PA work. He was a PA on Spider-Man 2. So Nate is kind of talking. He's feeling really good about Savannah and Shannon. He tells us, he's like, we can pull in. He's also feeling good about Rizzo. Also feeling good about Jawan as well. So this tribe right now, to me, is kind of like Savannah and Shannon, because a lot of them are feeling really good about each other. But at this core, like I said earlier, is Savannah and Shannon. I think they kind of have the pick of the litter here. They have a lot of options laid out in front of them, and they can just kind of be like, we want this person, we want to work with this person, bring them together. Especially with Nate being on their side strongly as well. Jawan wanted to work with them, calling them, they had a trio formed at the watering well with Jawan, Shannon, Savannah. Nate is also approaching this with, Savannah, Shannon, and also possibly Rizzo as well. So I think Savannah and Shannon are already, within a couple of days, are already being very set up well. Very set up well. They're well set up in this tribe out the gate. People are very, very good on them. They're already looking, and you just have to hope that, nobody compares notes, but I don't think so. Now, like I said, Savannah and Shannon had the little trio they formed with Jawan when they were getting water. But Savannah, very savvy, is now a bit nervous about Jawan because of his little, not meltdown, it's not the right word, frustration with his inability to make fire at camp, which I can't fault him for as somebody who also gets very frustrated easily and gets emotional when frustrated. I understand just like the getting riled up and like having to just like walk away for a second. That also made me be like the oldest kid. Joanna's the oldest of 5. I'm an eldest child as well. So maybe it could be part of that too. But I feel it. The frustration of like, why can't I do this? And even when it's things like John said, he's been practicing this for a year and a half. I've had similar to Juan, moments of like a very emotional frustration like this, like for baking. And I went to school for that. Well, not fully, but I have a degree in food service management. And I'm baking, I'm like, this is just not working. Why is this going right? This is not how I planned it to be. I practiced this, and now it's falling apart. What is that? Like, it's very, like, I get it. I really, really do. Savannah is seeing this, and she is not the same. She is very nervous. She's like, this guy is getting this frustrated, this emotionally about just making a fire. She's like, can he? How is that gonna help further in the game? You don't want somebody who's just gonna be, a very emotional, too, I guess, not over the top. It's just, I guess, how can you work with somebody if you don't really know how you can handle a situation? If you're, if you're doing a comp and he can't do the comp, is he gonna also have to walk? He walked away from the fire. He had to walk away, go down to the beach, and calm himself down. You can't do that in the middle of a challenge. If you're trying to do a puzzle, you can't do it. You're getting extremely frustrated and you're getting very upset. You can't just like walk away like we saw last season with Eva. Your emotions can be strong. It's not a bad thing to have strong emotions. It's just how you kind of handle it. And I get the concern of like if he gets this riled up about this and it's just making one fire, how is he gonna be in the long run? Can we trust to work with him if we're banking on him to win a safety and he's can't do the challenge and gets flustered and emotional and upset, and then all of a sudden we're not good? That's bad. So I do understand the reservation here, and I think he can. I do like Joanne. I love Joanne. He's great. I hope that he can kind of pull back and bounce back from that, because I would like to see him go far. I really would like to see most, if not all, of Uli go far. I think they are a great tribe. I really, really feel good about them. So I think Joanne just gotta, or maybe sit down and be like, listen, I apologize if I was really emotional. Like, this is what I'm feeling. Because he mentions he's like, I'm the oldest of 5 kids. I'm used to, being the helper, the provider, the one who does things for other people, and I can't even do this simple thing that I've been practicing for a year and a half. So I get the frustration. I'd be frustrated. I'd probably be way more frustrated than that. I probably would be crying. I probably would have stomped off long before he did. But yeah, it's a tricky thing to navigate because it's his emotions, it's what he's feeling. And it's understandable when you're frustrated, you want to take a break. It's better to take a break and take a breather, calm yourself down, versus try to push through all frazzled and emotional and perform worse. So it's a fine balance, and I hope he does get to talk to Savannah and kind of, he does know that she has an issue with that, but kind of like mend the fences there and see if they can get back more on the same page, because I really would like to see that group there with Savannah, Shannon, and Jawan. I think that'd be fun. But this I don't know, this whole tribe would just be so good together. I think it'd be really fun regardless. Now, I've mentioned this several times already. Immunity challenge. They come on out. I really like that the immunity idols here are like the little siren mermaids. So, I love the nautical, the boat, siren, boat, shipwreck, vibe they've got going on this season. I'm a big fan of it. I really like it. The tribal council set, stunning. We kind of saw, well, not kind of, we did see. We saw, the tribal council setting, and as well as this immunity challenge during the 36-hour influencer speed run of a round of Survivor on YouTube that they did. When I watched that, I was like, oh, this is the first challenge, because obviously they had it set up for 49. They're just like, just let them run through it. Fuck it, why not? Okay, excuse me. How rude. My apologies. A little late here. But yeah, the immunity challenge, as we saw on the little influencer bout, is run once again in pairs. There's 3 snakes that 3 pairs have to get. Obviously, 1 pair at a time has to get through the tunnel maze, go through the mud, run through the jungle, retrieve their 200-pound snake. That Jeff said 200. I'm like, 200? I would be dead. Go get their 200-pound snake, bring it back through all this shit, the mud, the maze, get it through, pop it in place, next pair runs, does the same thing, comes back, next pair goes, comes back. Once they got all 3, then 3 people do the classic, the snake weave maze trail, move the ball to the end, without dropping it through a hole. Or you could drop it, but you gotta reset, You know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. It's the I wrote down the pairs for this as well, because, like I said, memory in one ear, out the other, visually, don't remember things. Whoop, bye. So our first pairs to go for each tribe. For Kelle, who shocked Kella. I keep saying Kelly. Kella. Jake and Annie. Again, I'm not shocked that they had Jake start this off. You want to start off strong. I'm not shocked. Hina has Matt and Sophie, and Uli starts with Rizzo and Sage. Now, who's shocked? Hina and Kella take off strong. Though you can't run to the forest unless both your people are there. So Hina has the benefit of both Matt and Sophie getting there fairly quick, getting through the tunnel and the mud fairly quickly, and they're both able to take off together into the forest. Jake gets through his, the challenge quickly, but has to wait for Annie to complete. So that's kind of killing time, on his big old strong dude. We're gonna make a run for it, because I make a run. And Rizzo and Sage are doing fine as well. This first round is, it's not super crazy. Obviously, Hina is able to pick up a bit of a lead here with their quick start to this. But at this point, Kella, I believe, is just ahead of Uli, but they're starting to gain more of a lead on them as well. But once the second round of runners comes through, obviously starting with Hina, because they finished their first round, they brought their snake back first, with Steven and Jason going in. Once again, getting a very strong lead. They're able to move through this pair moves through this round quickly. Very quickly, they're back. They're there and back. Through the mud, through the maze. You're solid as a rock. Now, Jeremiah and Nicole for Kella. This was a problem. They struggled very hard. It seemed like they were struggling just to get the snake off of the wall that it was set up on, which is not great. Which, honestly, they fumbled this portion of the comp really hard. They had a really, really hard time with the snake. I mean, it's 200 pounds. I get it. But their performance, they had a big lead actually forming, thanks to the work that Jake and Andy put in the previous round. They kind of undo everything. They undo it all to the point where the Uli tribe's second team, Nate and Savannah, are not only able to gain on them, they outrun them. They beat them. They not by much, because when Savannah is running out with Nate, Nicole and Jeremiah are right behind them, but they weren't even in step before. They had a massive lead that they totally blew that, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, I don't know how they got stuck. I feel like they were having a hard time getting it off of the wall. Like they couldn't get the knots done fully, because it was kind of like curling in on itself. It was like kind of sliding, looked like it was sliding down a bit. But yeah, they're struggling hard. They're having a hard time getting it through the maze. Even with Like when Annie and Jake ran it, Jake was just kind of pulling it through mostly. Annie was helping. Annie was like kind of more like a support role. Jake was definitely like dragging that shit. So now with Jeremiah and Nicole, they're having a hard time. They are falling behind quick. And it's bad for them because once again, Hina is flying through this. Like don't even look at Hina. Don't worry about them because they're crushing this first half of the challenge. I mean, so Christine and MC take off flying. They go through that shit so quick. They had such a big lead that they put they're the first ones to the next portion, the puzzle navigation area. And the other two tribes are still trying to get their third snake. And it's God, they had this. The theme for Kella's episode is we had a lead and boy did we blow it. Unfortunately. And they, at this point, they're not trailing too far behind Uli, but it's far enough that they're behind. Uli gets their snake in next, their final snake in next, and they're able to move on to the puzzle section. It's not a puzzle. There's a better word for this. It's not maze. They're navigation. I'm going to call it the navigation section with the puzzle. Obviously Kella does finish it as well, and they are able to get there as well, but Hina has a big lead on them. Now, this portion perfectly encapsulates the whole vibe I was getting pre-season with these interviews, with this cast, with those tribes. Because I was like, Hina and Uli seemed really well connected, well binded. I think they're a really well-rounded team. And Kella, not so much. Kella felt like I said earlier, a little mixed matched. Not the most compatible in my opinion. And you can really see it on this challenge. My God. Nicole and Annie and Alex are the ones doing this portion. And Nicole and Annie just cannot get on the same page with this puzzle. Annie is like, oh, I don't have any more slack to move the rope anymore. Mind you, she's holding the rope like, this is the rope. She's holding it here. There's about 20 feet, I swear to God, like, behind her. She's like, this is as far as it goes. And they were shady with this edit. Let me tell you something. Because Nicole's like, you need to pull more. And there's like, and Annie's like, there's no more to pull. There's no more. She's like, I think this is as far as it goes. And you can see her holding it. You can see all the rope behind her. And then the next shot is Jason on Hina doing this. He's on the edge of his little platform. He's literally like, he is so far leaned. I'm surprised he didn't fall over. He's at the end of that rope. Like, this is the rope. He's here. He's got the end of it. Annie was like, I have no more. I'm like, what is that? And she's holding it with the other. I'm like, ma'am, lean, back up. She's like at the edge of like, I'm like, girl, move. Lean with it. Jason is like practically horizontal at this point. He is so far lean to get this shit moved. And she's like, there's no more. Yes, there is. It's right there. Do it. Fix it. And then they can't communicate well at all. Nicole is, she's in the commanding position to try to navigate through this maze. I keep calling it a maze. I don't even know what to call it. It's not a maze. It's like, it's not. There's the snake path. And they just cannot communicate well. I mean, hell, they barely put the ball in there and he dropped it. The second they put it, because they start yanking it. I'm like, Nicole's not even standing up yet. Stop moving it. I'm like, how are you reset before you even started? Please. They are just not meshing. And you can tell that is a big detriment. Because they're losing it. It is a fight to get this thing moving. And I'm like, oh boy. Oh my God, what are we doing? But unfortunately for Kella, they just cannot recover. Hina finishes, obviously, a mile ahead of these people. Hina has been crushing this whole fucking premiere. I'm like, oh my god. This is like a vacation for Hina. They're having a ball. And when it's Kella versus Uli, Uli is able to communicate. They are able to mesh well together. They are able to get to the end. And it was a little closer than it was at some point. Like, Uli was almost to the end. Kelly wasn't, like, super far behind. But Kella, like I said, no communication. Can't agree on directions, how to move things, how things should be going. Literally dropped the ball. I'm like, oh my god. You were right there. What are you doing? Like, I listen, I don't claim to be an expert on these, like, comps, mentally or physically. But, like, you can't just be, like, even on I'm gonna throw it back. The 36, the 36-hour Survivor experience, speed run, whatever you want to call it. They did that. One of them, I don't even remember which goes to move their rope, yanks that shit, the ball fly. I'm surprised it didn't go into the woods. It flew. I'm like, what are we doing? Why would you yank it like that? Like, you have to be careful. So I'm like, Sophie? Oh my god. She could probably navigate a ship in the dark. Sophie, yes. For Hina. She was the one running this portion of the game, and she is just phenomenal. She was so clear, so concise. She was like a little more she wasn't just saying, okay, move this way, move this way. She's like giving them pointed directions, like, okay, you have to move it just slightly more to the right, just slightly more this way, do this, if we just tilt it this way, that's phenomenal. That is so good. I'm telling you, Hina I'm surprised by this. I mean, I knew they were gonna do well. They were like my second, like the middle tribe in terms of how I felt. But I am shocked. I personally was surprised. I thought they were gonna, like, Uli was gonna be above them, but Hina is crushing it. Hina is very, very strong. I think they're doing really, really well. I'm like, this is so good. But like I said, with Kella, they got right at the end. So who's shocked? Uli wins. Uli, oh my god, I keep trying to say two sentences at once. Uli manages to get their ball in and win. So, I didn't even mention they get rewards for this. So, Hina gets the large toolkit to help build camp. Uli gets the smaller one. Kella, once again, I hope you're hungry for nothing, because they got nothing. Then I got flint, then I got a machete, then I got a pot. They're like, all right, poor people, the rich just get richer. So they have to go to tribal council. Now, honestly, this is the portion of the episode where I'm like, okay, I can kind of see what people were like, this wasn't really that good. Mostly because the vote wasn't the most exciting. They made it very clear in Kella pretty early on that it was down to two people, Annie or Nicole. And the whole episode, I'm like, they've gotta be leading Nicole, right? Because they're like, she's not helping us in the comps, like with the puzzles, physically in these comps, we can't keep losing. We haven't had fun this entire time. We don't have a machete. We don't have anything. Like, we need supplies. And Annie is not so much the issue of the challenges, because she is a very physical person. She does Ironmans. She's very athletic, very fit. She is just sus to everybody else because she keeps wandering. If she would just stay in place for a few days, I think she'd be golden. So, like I said, this whole pre-tribal council segment is pretty much the rest of the four debating, should we get Annie, should we get Nicole? Who do you think? And they are leaning Nicole, which they're not telling that to Nicole, obviously, because nobody has, this whole episode, I'm shocked, no idols, no beware advantages, no lose a vote, no steal a vote, no craziness. they do have shot in the dark. So I know they do not want either of them playing shot in the dark. So they're promising both of them, oh, it's not you, it's the other person. Nicole, we're voting out Annie. We're all voting out Annie. Annie, we're all voting out Nicole. I promise you, we're all voting out Nicole. And these four just get to pick. Whoever they want to go, goes. And they are very heavily leading Nicole until Annie is smart. Annie realizes once they're telling her, oh, it's Nicole, but we're going to tell her it's you. She's like, oh, okay. And she's like, if you wanted me to stay here, you wouldn't. She does the math pretty quickly. Like, the writing's on the wall. If they're telling you, oh, we're telling the other person your name, that means they've been discussing you possibly going home. And she correctly identifies, oh, so if Nicole goes, I'm next. Probably, girl. Probably. And she realizes maybe we should do something here. So she talks to, unfortunately, of all people, Sophie, to try to get something started with Jeremiah. So once Nicole leaves, they can take out Jake and Alex. Unfortunately for Annie, Sophie kind of runs this back to everybody else. And they're like, should we get Annie out? Fuck Nicole, should we get Annie out? And now, one thing, my one beef point with Survivor, this episode, the editors, how fucking dare you? How dare you put in that segment of Nicole vomiting? That's nasty. Oh, out of it, no warning. Just I think I'm gonna be sick, and then immediately projectile vomit. I was like, it reminds me. If you're watching, if you've seen The Pit, episode 11. If you know, you know. Something happens on that screen. It pops up. I was like, oh, okay. We could just show that. Oh, okay. I'm like, oh, anyway, we could show that. Jump scare. Truly jump scare. I was jump scared by Nicole projectile vomiting everywhere. Oh my god. I didn't talk about the best part of the challenge. The immunity challenge. When they're covered in mud. Oh my god. And Jeremiah is like, I have mud in my eyes. We have to get out the mud in my eyes. And Nicole just takes a big ass swig of water and just hoses that man. Just spits directly into his eyeballs. She did clarify later he asked her to do that. They didn't show that part in the edit. So she just blasts this man with spit and water. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, he better have asked for that, because otherwise I'd be kicking your ass. Don't projectile spit in my face. And then she projectile vomiting. Literally rough episode. Rough episode for Nicole for a lot of reasons. Now, they are the tribal council. They're very happy-go-lucky. Let me tell you something. They're like, wow, we're here. Oh boy, it's like the meme of the farm girl moving New York. Like, wow, life in the big city. They're like, wow, we're at immunity. We lost immunity. We're at tribal council, and they're all giggling. They're laughing it up. And Jeff's like, wow, it's if you just turned this on, you wouldn't realize you're about to boot somebody. And let me tell you something, Jeff killed that vibe quick. They're like, They're like, oh, right, yep, somebody's like, oh, yeah, right, yeah. So, Jeff's asking him questions. Jeremiah don't give a fuck. He pretty much tells them we're down to two people. It's two people. It's one or the other. And Nicole and Annie are like, well, Annie is smart. Annie kind of realized that. Nicole, not saying she's not smart, but she didn't catch on the signs. Nicole's immediately like, two. And she looks at Alex and like, Alex, am I good? Alex is like, oh yeah, you're good. Don't worry about it. She's not good. And they pretty much are like, listen, we can't lose again. We have to be able to somebody we can help us win, that we can trust, that once we, hit merge, if we're all, how many of us are still here for merge, that they're not gonna, switch over and try to work with somebody from other tribes, that they're gonna stick with our grouping. Which I'm like, okay, you don't know with them, but you never know. Who knows? So the vote, listen, this is a very straightforward vote, honestly. I get why this is. Some people were like I said earlier, like this was like like a whatever, it's a good premiere, but it's not a bad premiere. I had fun, but this is the one portion I'm like, okay, I understand, because it's not like an exciting like, who's it gonna be? It's gonna be this big person, this big person. It's like, is it gonna be Nicole or and to nobody's shock, just Nicole's shock, because she was blindsided and voted out. She is the only vote. I almost said vote to evict. She's the only vote for Annie to leave. Everybody else in her tribe voted for her. It was as unanimous that you get it. And let me tell you something. For these chatty Cathys, the second that vote is read, they go mute. The only person who says anything is Alex, and he just goes, sorry, and then they're all of a sudden they're somber. No more giggling, no more kikiing. Just they don't even say bye to Nicole. Jeff snuffs her torch and she just walks. She doesn't turn back to look at them. She just goes, and they don't say bye, Nicole. Bye. I'm sorry. They're just. I'm like, yeah, rough. But yeah, I'm not surprised. Her challenge performance were not very good. She was putting in the work at camp, but when you're losing and you're like, man, we need to get somebody out of here so we don't win. It's a way to get rid of people. I don't know if it's the only thing you should bet on, but I know comps here are much more important. Are very, very important. I mean, it's your life. It's your life and your tribe's life in the game. Simple as that. Now, I am curious to see how this is going to go. Because, Kella, I'm just so confused on. Because they have Jake, he's giving very much, good old pal, I guess, Jonathan Young. If, 42, massive comp piece, was able to drag his tribe through, literally drag his tribe through challenges. I was thinking we were gonna get that vibe. They lost the second challenge, not to any they lost the immunity challenge, not to any fault of Jake's, mostly. But you never, if they could be crazy to have the meat shield big comp guy in your team and you in your tribe and you lose, you're the disaster tribe. I really hope that's the case. I really don't. I kind of hate when there's a disaster tribe, because it just sucks. That poor tribe is just getting rinsed week after week, day after day. It's like they can't even get a chance to catch their breath. 48, Vula, I don't think they had fire for a week. They barely ate because they just kept losing and losing and losing. And that is also the problem with having to fight for your supplies. If you don't win the murdering challenge, if you don't win this duel, you're getting nothing. How do you eat? How do you live? How do you survive? How do you have any strength to do these impossible challenges when you're eating coconut water and a bug? You can't do that. That's why I wish they would just give them their shit and then let them go for it. But that'd be too easy. But yeah. So that is our Survivor premiere. Honestly, I think it was a really, really fun premiere. It's, kind of a straightforward vote, but, it's the premiere. It's the first episode. It's not going to be a crazy out the gate blindside. I am looking forward to the rest of this season. I think Jeff is hyping it up. But you never know with Jeff. I think it'll be really fun, personally. I think this cast is a great cast. I think they seem like they're they seem very go. We have taken a hard pivot from 48 and we're all about honesty, loyalty, and integrity, which is snooze fest. I don't care. We're not here to be lost oil. I can't speak. We are not here to be honest and loyal. It's Survivor. You're here to be cutthroat, strategic, brutal, and win. So I am really glad that we have tribes with people who are like, we're gunning for this. I don't care that we're the Vibe Tribe right now. We're not gonna stay the Vibe Tribe. We'll be Vibe Tribe for now, but wait, when we need to get real, we're getting real. And I'm like, that's all I need to know. And that makes me feel really, really good about this season. Now, something that I have yet to mention in this video as well, I kind of didn't want to mention it early on because, shocker, there's some people who don't know this information, but we do have 2 people from this season who are on Survivor 50. Now, nothing is confirmed, but we know, we have our sources, we know. So we do know the identity of the 2 players who are going to be on Survivor 50. This is your moment if you don't want to know to bounce. I'll give you a moment. Okay. So, our 49ers on 50. We have Rizzo, the man, the myth, the legend, R-I-Z-G-O-D, baby, Riz God, and Savannah. Interesting. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. When we first just got, all we were going off of was, the trailer for 49, and we had this kid, Riz God, in it. I'm like, oh boy. I did feel better knowing his name was Rizzo, and it was from that. And I was like, okay. I was like, looking at the 2 people, I'm like, okay, interesting. But when we get the full tribe cast, and I see they're on the same tribe, I'm like, oh. Very, very curious to see how this plays out. Because so far this episode, Savannah has not really mentioned much about working with Rizzo. The only person that really mentioned, like, in passing, like, getting Rizzo into the group was Jawan. And Nate as well said he was feeling good about Rizzo. But Jawan was, and mentions, like, who's going to be auditioning to join R3, him, Savannah, Shannon. So I'm very curious. I wonder, because we don't know the dynamic. Obviously, it's only been 1 episode. Are they going to be, working together? Are they going to be, like, kind of butting heads in the tribe? Are they going to, hell, this is going to be a disaster tribe and there are going to only 2 people left at merge, like some people were thinking? I really don't see that happening. But who knows? Truly, who knows with this show? I almost said expected and expected, but fuck it, expected and expected. But I am very curious to see how these 2 get along. And I know there's people online who are like, oh, who even cares? They're probably gonna win. Just because somebody is on Survivor 50 doesn't mean they're gonna win this show. You never truly know. The 50 cast has 2 winners out of 22 people that we know confirmed how they placed in their games. So who knows? One of them could win. They could both lose. They could both be. Oh hell, they could be the best Big Brother. Can you tell? I spent 3 months watching Big Brother. They could be like some of the greatest Survivor players we've ever seen, but we don't know because it's been the premiere. We just know they're the ones to watch because something's coming. And Jeff is hyping this up, so it better be good or we're gonna have words. We're gonna have words, Jeff Probst. But yeah, I'm really, really excited for this season. I am having a ball. Honestly, I'm a bit of a newer Survivor fan. I actually didn't start until 47. I know. I spent 13 years of my life watching my brother, but I'm like, last year, sure, I'll watch Survivor. Shout out to Asia Welch, because that's why I tuned in. I was like, Asia's on? Well, I gotta watch Survivor. That first episode of 47, I was already out of my I'm hooked. And I've been hooked. So I have seen more. Let me just to clarify. I have not just watched 47, 48, and now 49. I've seen more. I have gone back and watched more seasons. Don't worry. I'm not just Survivor. I know. I've been doing the research. I promise. Scott's honor. And I'm gonna watch more. Trust. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how the season goes. I think it's gonna be really fun, and I'm so excited we get to cover it. Oh my god. Okay, so that's all I got for today. I made a post about my schedule as well. This wasn't really my intended time to post, like Tuesday, Wednesday, coming because of the not Survivor. Oh my god. I'm just melding all the shows together. But because of Big Brother ending this past Sunday with the end game was still going crazy, so I didn't have time. I was too locked in. Now that we are in the postseason, Big Brother is over, we can actually have time to do a real schedule. So Survivor coverage, excluding this premiere because it's coming out later than intended, the Survivor videos will be coming out every Friday. So we'll have, obviously the episodes air on Wednesday. The recaps for Survivor will be on Fridays. Also on Wednesdays is Amazing Race 38. Amazing Race will be Sundays. So every Sunday we watch episodes Wednesdays. Sunday we'll get Survivor. Oh my god. I can't. I'm tired. I'm so sorry. You can tell probably through this whole video, I'm tired. I'm ready to clock out. I'm gonna tell you. But yeah, so Wednesdays we get the episodes for both Survivor 40. Do you see what I mean? I've been doing this all week. I keep saying Survivor 48 and Amazing Race 39. I keep flip-flopping the numbers. Let's just try that again. Wednesdays, the episodes for Survivor 49 and The Amazing Race 38 air. My videos for Survivor 49 will be on Fridays. For The Amazing Race 38, Sundays. For Halloween, Guts and Glory, the AMC's horror reality show that's coming out. It's a short show, only 6 episodes. It's coming out on the 14th. Initially, it was supposed to be coming out last month, but it got pushed to the 14th for Halloween, which makes sense. So that will be coming out on Thursdays once it starts. It's only 6 episodes, so it's not going to be, weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of coverage. It's just six. And I believe this is how they had it for when it was premiering in September. I'm not sure how they're having it set up for when it premieres in October, but I believe the first 2 episodes drop at the same time, and then on Tuesday, October 14th will be, I believe, maybe it's still the 2 episodes. I'm not sure, but at least obviously the premiere, and then after that will be the remaining 4 to 5, depending on how they're doing, if they're still doing the 2 episodes at once. So it'll just be like a month of some spooky little horror show, reality show that I honestly am really excited for. It's created by Greg Nicotero. He's one of the people who helped create the Walking Dead show, and honestly, fun fact about me, that's one of my favorite shows, if not my favorite show of all time. Scripted show, not reality. So yeah, we've got a lot coming. I think it's really fun. And we get more Survivor soon. I'm so excited. Alright. So that is all I have for now. I will see you all coming up this Friday for Survivor 49, more of that. And tomorrow, surprise, for my Amazing Race premiere coverage as well. So look forward to that. Alright, that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment, let me know your thoughts on the episode, how you think this is gonna go this season, your thoughts on the tribes. Can Kella pull it through and come back from behind, or are we looking at another disaster tribe? I really hope not. I really hope they can pull it together. But we'll see. But I love the other tribes. Okay. So yeah, leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you want. But for now, that's all I got for you. It's just, we spent a nice day indoors talking about Survivor, and now I gotta go to bed. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.